In the past 40 years, one economic model has dominated the global economy. In reality, we have a system of governance that secures profits for billionaires, but not a global system to secure human rights. The bottom half of the world's 7 billion people collectively own the same as the richest 85 people in the world. People around the world are demanding a new, fairer approach to development. They are demanding development justice.
But Bill Gates' total income is more than what my country's total budget is. So this is not just, this is unfair. So this kind of system we want to change. How can one country's total GDP could be less than just one person income? This is the system change we want.
Given that the concept justice itself means more than a different form of development, it also really means a remedy, a recognition that development has been unjust.
Our loss is not an accident. We believe our island has been lost because of climate change, resource extraction. We did not cause the world to warm. We did not overfeast, overlove, or try to become rich. But we are paying the price for those in the world who did.
Justice is a big word for us, and sometimes the word justice in itself is a mockery, because the justice system is so patriarchal and it is very much an institution of capitalism in many ways, So more than often the justice system, actually the mainstream justice system, doesn't really work for the people. But I think in some ways it's a very good taking back of a word which represents equity.
Asia Pacific is the largest region in the world. It is home to more than half of the world's population. It is home to the worst development problems in the world. And I think if we want to, be halfway in solving the world's problems in terms of development issues, it has to be solving those problems in Asia Pacific would really have an impact in solving global poverty, global inequalities, all those problems around the world.
So we've had a long history of critiquing the development model, but what we really wanted to do was think about what would be the alternatives to the current model. What are the ways that we could think about development in a more just, equitable and sustainable way?
Yeah, the development justice framework, I think this is, it emerged from the civil society organizations across Asia and also probably other regions. But in Asia, where I'm involved, it goes before the Rio +20 summit. The reality of communities worldwide, there are a series of concerns of increasing inequality, of increasing disparity of wealth, of increased intrusion of development aggression in indigenous territory, impacting their livelihood, their very survival. So there are a series of concerns. So that's why it's very important that the civil society groups and also community organizations come together before the Rio summit in 2012, and they try to reflect on the realities in their own community and try to analyze the realities, and also key causative factors as to why those realities are being persisted.
In the Rio +20 in 2012, there were proposals to create the Sustainable Development Goals because the Millennium Development Goals were already expiring, and then we needed a new development framework to guide how to address the development issues around the world.
In 2013, there was again a gathering of civil society organizations here again in Bangkok. And this time, it was more preparing actually for the post-2015 Sustainable Development Goals. So it was framed on just and transformative development. And this was when these various civil society organizations were in APWLD as well as the People's Goals took the lead in crafting the framework of development justice.
We surveyed all of the participants that were coming to the CSO forum, which was about 100, but also other organisations that had expressed interest in collaboration around advocacy around sustainable development. And from that survey, we tried to collate all of the large amount of material we had from all constituencies on what their key concerns, their key advocacy points, their key demands were, and we're able to collate that into these 5 transformative shifts.
I think the framework, the way it lists down the 5, the 5 components is what is eye-catching, because you have the hand, and generally we have a habit of counting, and it's a very normal thing to do. And I think the encapsulation of a very big framework, to distill it to this, is easy to expound on.
We had a number of APWLD members go to Rio, but we really didn't have a strong voice in those negotiations. In fact, most of the delegation didn't even get inside the building. And afterwards we thought we really need to work better to have a stronger voice from the region. We knew the major groups existed, but we didn't have a very clear way to access the major groups or really have a regional voice within the major groups.
But when I think civil society organizations tried to come together, we realized that we do need to represent, we are not able to represent ourselves in a very cohesive manner, in a very coordinated manner. Different organizations are talking to UN agencies, member states, or in their own capacity. What we need is a unified platform.
RSEM is Asia Pacific Regional CSO Engagement Mechanism, so it's supposed to be APRSEM. But, APRSEM is a platform. Yeah, it's not a coalition, it's not a network, it's a platform of all the civil society in Asia Pacific to engage with the intergovernmental processes in relation with the sustainable development.
We wanted to let organizations select the structure. So there was initial research on what this could look like, what would make sense, how we could actually represent different constituencies. And the UN has the major group structure, like they have 9 major groups, from NGOs to trade union to farmers, etc. But we realized, very soon, you have one meeting of civil society organizations on sustainable development and you realize that's simply not enough.
For the APRSEM, I would say because it's an Asia Pacific network, and we have seen mostly individual people, if they made the interventions or they make their statements, that's not that much strong when you are in a collective place or platform.
It was, we did not have the RSEM at that time, but we thought that we should engage. However, because this thing is a UN engagement, there should be a way for us, as an institution or as a coalition or a platform to be recognized by the UN. So then the idea of RSEM came about to unify at least the CSO, whether you are grassroots organization, whether you are NGOs, whether you are advocate, whether you are research institution, to actually unify to what do we want, at least for our region, at least for Asia and the Pacific. And that's why the RSEM became a platform that we think we have to fight for, and for us to have at least very strong voice, united voice in the UN and in front of the government.
It has really brought our work to a new level, I would say. I think it's made us very aware of the constituents that we serve This is one important point. And the second thing is that it has really enhanced the quality of regional dialogue. We've been very good at convening the governments. Lots of intergovernmental meetings, lots and lots of speeches, but very few of these speeches have an authentic voice, and we need more of this, and this is what it has really contributed. And another important point is that the quality of the debate has really improved, has really been strengthened. The quality is much better than it has been in past years, at least in my field.
The memorable things in RCM is we can speak loudly and bring the grassroots voices together among the country, among the CSOs, even in national or regional. So we have the common perspective on that. That's really nice. Yeah.
We established this Asia-Pacific Regional Civil Society Engagement Mechanism. That's a mouthful. So we then agreed that we will have development justice as the framework, against which we all work, because all of us really kind of subscribe to that vision.
The development justice framework also makes RCM unique, because we're not just any platform of CSOs coming together, working together, but we have a direct political vision that we want to achieve, and that is development justice.
And our control for the major groups and other stakeholders in the order provided by the Secretariat. And there I can see the representative from APWLD, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. Your Excellencies, honorable delegates, UN agencies, civil society colleagues and friends, I'm speaking on behalf of Asia-Pacific Regional CSO Engagement Mechanism. Civil society reiterates our call for the need for an ambitious, inclusive, transformative roadmap that seeks to dismantle the barriers to sustainable development.
The reference to engage with the regional CSO engagement mechanism was there in the outcome document of the regional forum on Beijing +20.
Housing, energy and land, access to progressive sexual health and education services.
It was with Prime Minister of Bhutan and some other heads of state, and asked me, it was a panel where they were going to have discussions like we're having, and you didn't prepare a statement. And their question was, what is development justice? Can you please tell the governments? I mean, that stunned me. That we are actually invited to the SCAP Commission, and the question they have is, what is development justice? I'm really...
Like me, there are many young women around the world taking risks to create the world we want. I encourage you today to take some bold, maybe even courageous steps to deliver a roadmap for the Asia-Pacific Forum on Sustainable Development that makes our work and vision possible and deliver development justice. Thank you.
I think one of its successes is also to be recognized not only in the region, because we were able to participate in the New York meetings, and some of those in some of those meetings it was officially documented that APRSM, the process, the regional CSO engagement mechanism in Asia Pacific that we have built, that the CSOs have built, is a good practice for expanding the voices of civil society, for them to be heard in official spaces, and they are encouraging other regions to also replicate this kind of practice.
I hear very good feedback from the global level discussions from my colleagues in New York, who say, in fact, the RCM is a very unique mechanism, and actually it has inspired a lot of the work that's going on in civil society organization in other regions of the world. So there is something that is at least credible and appealing about the way that RCM does its work.
The APRSM is on Asia Pacific, so we are trying to cover the Pacific region as well, the South Asia, all the different sub-regions as well, and giving them the equal opportunity. And then the thematic distribution is also very important, because we have seen like some of the representatives of the constituency, they are older people or disabled people or the marginalized women, so it's a cross-cutting. So how you are integrating those concerns as well. And also APRSM is again providing the long-term connections and the networking, so nobody is going to duplicate the things, but instead of duplicating, they are replicating the good experiences from the field.
Development justice clearly are saying about the voices of peoples, not the corporate. Development justice is seeking to, to stop the neoliberal policy implementation and change it with more people-centered policy making. So development justice is something that need to be learned by the policy maker and other stakeholders. We need to change.
So what we can do is fight. There's no other recourse. We don't have the resources to help one-to-one. What we do have is our strength in our political belief that there has to be fairness, there has to be equity. The marginalized have to be the ones who represent the people, and they need to have political domination. And our work is to ensure that we do that.
And your stories urge us to push for development justice. To all of you, your presence give hope to this planet. Long live international solidarity. The women united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
So if we have clear visions, if we know who are we, and if we know who our enemies are, we will overcome. Of that I am very, very certain. It may take time, but it will happen. Yeah.